So Pokemon Legends ZA is the next brand new mainline Pokemon game that's going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch next year in 2025. It was recently just announced for Pokemon Day in a special Pokemon Presents that happened just a few days ago, and I am super excited for this game. Like, I already loved Pokemon Legends Arceus, so now to hear that Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be focusing on the Kalos region, and we're going to see some more stuff with like Zygarde, it makes me super excited to see how they can build upon this and make the game even better. Now, the video that we got to see for this reveal was very minimal. It was more so kind of just a teaser video to give us like a glimpse of what their vision is for this game and what it might be like, but we don't actually have any real gameplay for what we're actually going to be doing like in the game and what it's going to look like on the Nintendo Switch, so we're probably going to have to wait a little bit for it. But there is so many things that I'm still curious about with this game, and right now in terms of Nintendo news, like unless maybe they announce a Nintendo Direct at some point, but even with like the Switch 2 or Nintendo's next gen system potentially having like an internal delay now to 2025, it really seems like there just isn't going to be a ton of stuff to talk about when it comes to Nintendo this year. So instead, I'm going to be talking a lot about Pokemon Legends ZA, as I feel like there's a lot of other people like myself who are very interested in this as well. And so I've already got a bunch of video ideas for Pokemon Legends ZA content, and so that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about on this channel moving forward. I might sprinkle in some other videos if we get some Switch 2 rumors and things like that, maybe just some other videos about things that I'm interested in, because I do want to talk about like Xenoblade and other things on this channel too. But for the most part, I've got a lot of cool Pokemon ideas as well, because I'm very excited for this game. And so I figured the first thing that we could talk about in terms of content is actually the logo for the game, as even though we didn't get any actual official gameplay for like what Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be like, the one thing that we did get that was actually official is going to be the logo for the game that's going to appear on the box art. Now, the logo for Pokemon Legends ZA looks pretty standard to begin with, but it's really when you kind of start looking at things closely that you can really start thinking about more ideas for what this could be referencing and the possibilities for what it might mean in terms of the actual game. Alright, so here is the Pokemon Legends ZA logo, and really the first thing that I noticed immediately after seeing this logo is how it's actually slightly different from the Pokemon Legends Arceus logo, as pretty much whenever we saw this logo for the first time, we just assumed that every single game, if this was going to become a series, would just have a logo like this, where it was going to be Pokemon Legends, and then some legendary name at the bottom here written in like this paint stroke type of font. That's pretty much what everybody thought, and then that's how we came up with like Pokemon Legends Kyurem and Pokemon Legends Celebi and all this. So now that we have something called Pokemon Legends ZA, like that's already a very unique name, which really kind of shows that these Pokemon Legends games can be anything. Like, they don't have to be focused on a certain legendary Pokemon, and I really like that. Now, really the first thing that I noticed immediately after looking at the logo for Pokemon Legends ZA is what they've got going on here with the Z part of it, as the Z here is definitely referencing the Z legendary from Pokemon X and Y, which is the Pokemon Zygarde. Now, Zygarde is always one of those legendary Pokemon that I feel like was just done really dirty, because it's such a cool Pokemon, I feel like, and they definitely had a really cool idea for it too, where Zygarde actually is dependent on the cells that it has, and like this form that we see right here, its default form is really only at its half power, where it's at its 50% form that we see right here, but you can actually go even less than that, where if it's in its 10% form, it looks like this dog right here, and then if you have all of the cells, it turns into like this perfect giant colossal like titan looking thing, and that's like its 100% form. So it's a really cool Pokemon, but it just feels like this type of lore that they had going for it was just never really properly done, because everybody kept asking for a Pokemon Z or some type of follow-up, and we even found out that there was apparently going to be Pokemon X and Y sequels, like 2 other games that were supposed to come out in 2015. We found that out from like a Nintendo hack that happened just a few years ago, but I guess they just got scrapped internally or something. So instead, all of this stuff with Zygarde was kind of just shoehorned into Pokemon Sun and Moon, which just felt like it didn't belong, because you were looking for like these cells for Zygarde, which was a legendary from Kalos inside of Alola, and then there was no story explanation or anything either, so it just felt like really random and out of place. And that's why I'm really happy that Pokemon Legends ZA could actually give Zygarde its second chance that it really deserves, to really kind of have more lore to it and lots of cool things. Maybe we can even see some other forms for it. Like, we've got this really awesome fan art here by Subarashi where we can see like what if it had like other different types of forms in different percentages. That would be really cool. But yeah, I feel like the Z here is absolutely referencing kind of what we see here with the Pokemon Zygarde, especially because we can even see like the hexagons from like the design right here in terms of the logo itself. So yeah, I definitely think that these hexagons and like the cells and everything are referencing the Pokemon Zygarde. But the second part of the logo is where it gets more interesting, which is the A section right here, because we don't really have any idea what this A could be referencing, and I've been trying really hard to kind of figure that out. We've got this really interesting design here too with like roots or something like growing out of the bottom here, and the only guess that I have for that is maybe it has something to do with Xerneas, because anytime we see Xerneas, it's always in like a forest or like some type of life setting, and it's a Pokemon to represent life, so maybe it has something to do with that, but I'm not really sure. Really, the only guess that I've seen for people in terms of like what that A could be referencing is right here with the original like ultimate weapon that was created in Pokemon X and Y, and I can kind of see that. That's really the only guess that I have, is like if we take a look right here, we can kind of see that it has like the A kind of going on it here, and maybe that A is what's referencing like this design here. It's also the same exact color, so maybe that's what it's referencing, but besides that, I really have no idea what else it could be. And I mean, I feel like it's probably that because the colors match here too, so maybe this is gonna have something to do with the ultimate weapon. But that's also very interesting too, because the ultimate weapon was something from like a very long ago war that happened within the Kalos region. So is this game going to be something that's going to happen there? But at the same time, it also seemed like the trailer or like the teaser that we got was very much futuristic, showing like the city expanding and like the wireframe for it and everything. So is it going to be brought back into like the future? Like, is somebody going to dig it up, or is the ultimate weapon going to be recreated in some way? It's very interesting, so I am very much looking forward to seeing how exactly they're going to incorporate that. And then finally, the last part that we have here is actually where you have to look really, really closely, as it involves the hyphen here that's connecting the Z and A together. So if we zoom in really, really deep into the hyphen here, you got to look really closely. I mean, I think if I zoom out a little bit here, you know, I think that's easier to see because the grids kind of disappear. But now if I take a look right here and bring in my eyedropper tool, you can actually see here that this part is blue right here. This is a little bit of blue that you can see here on the logo. And then right here in the corner, you can see a little bit of red. So there is in fact blue and red that appears on this logo. But what exactly is that referencing? So for this, I have only two things that come into mind. Actually, three. There's three things that come into mind. The first one is that this is with Zygarde again, because even in the perfect form Zygarde that we have here, we can see that there is blue and red that still appears on this perfect form. So maybe it's referencing that. The second one is the more obvious one, which is Xerneas and Yveltal themselves, the X and Y legendaries. Like, in some way, are they going to be represented? I'm sure that would make sense because it is a Kalos-focused game. Maybe they're going to be brought back and there's going to be some other connection between them that we're going to learn about. But then I also have another theory, which is that maybe it's going to have something to do with AZ's Floette. As of course, I feel like the name here, ZA, Pokemon Legends ZA, is intentionally done because it sounds very similar to AZ and it's backwards, so maybe it's going to have something to do with that. And I mean, the AZ Floette is something that people have been asking for years, as it's never been officially like given out or like distributed, but it looks really cool. People really want it, and this AZ Floette does have blue and red on it. So I feel like it has to be one of those three things, but that is also another very interesting thing that if you don't look really, really closely, you are absolutely going to miss it. So it is another very interesting part about this logo. But yeah, there you go guys, those are pretty much all of my theories and ideas for speculating for what the hidden things about this Pokemon Legends ZA logo could mean. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel, as well as I'm definitely going to have some more videos talking about Pokemon Legends ZA, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think about all of this. Do you have any potential theories for what this logo for Pokemon Legends ZA could be referencing? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about this, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.